What's good, everybody? What's good? Man, Ryan Garcia comes through with a huge win over Devin Haney, the WBC 140-pound champion. And I can't lie, I didn't see this coming. But the more you think about it, I'm not surprised because these two have been fighting each other since they were teenagers. And in the amateurs, they were 3-3. So I always knew that that possibility was there, but I favored Devin Haney in the fight because I thought Ryan's only Ryan's only path to victory was a knockout, which was pretty much true. He knocked Devin Haney down 3 times, and he won a decision. And the fight didn't really look exactly the way that I thought it would. Ryan Garcia came forward for just a little bit in the first round. He wobbled Devin Haney for like a half a second and tried to jump on him. And Haney weathered the storm until round 7. And Devin Haney was in control of the fight, as I thought he would, until the 7th round. And Devin Haney, he was coming forward on Ryan Garcia pretty much this whole fight, which really surprised me. That's why I say that the fight didn't look how I expected it would look. And like I say, you never know until these guys get in there. Ryan Garcia knocked Devin Haney down in the 7th round, in the 10th round, and the 11th round. But outside of that, Devin Haney was doing his thing. So the fight went to a decision, and Ryan Garcia won by a point with the 3 knockdowns on the zone. I mean, you know that Devin Haney wouldn't get that decision, even if he did win more rounds, because the 3 knockdowns, that's 6 points right there. And him hurting him in the first round for that little half a second, I know they probably gave him that round too, so that's probably 7 right there. But it's a rematch worthy fight for sure, man. But Golden Boy, they don't want to give Devin Haney the rematch. They think they want to move Ryan on to bigger and better things. But I'm not really sure who the next fight for Ryan Garcia would be. Now, me personally, I would love to see him fight Sabrina Matias and Pitbull, like the 140 champions. But Ryan Garcia can't make 140. He weighed in at 143 for this Devin Haney fight, and that's what made his chance to win the WBC belt null and void. So Devin Haney is still the champion. Ryan Garcia, he didn't weigh in 140 for Duarte either. Probably not Fortuna or to go. He probably made 140 like for one of those fights. He just can't make it. So I'm not sure what his next fight gonna be. Is he gonna fight at 147? He's calling out the names like Earl Spence. He tweeted about Jerron Boots Ennis, who is at Matchroom right now, just signed. So I'm not sure what's next for Ryan Garcia, but he has a big win on his resume. So it is what it is. Ryan Garcia was a plus 600 underdog in this fight. So whoever betted on Ryan Garcia, they won big. Devin Haney, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he can build back up. He's still the champion. He still can go after big fights. He just got a loss on his record now. You know? He put in some good work versus Ryan Garcia. Like I say, he only won by a point, majority decision. But Devin Haney was looking to hurt Ryan Garcia and compete left hooks with Ryan Garcia, which was a bad game plan. Bill Haney wants to rematch. Devin Haney wants to rematch, but the zone doesn't want that rematch. Because you know when you get that win over that slick black fighter, you got to run with it, no matter what the situation of the matter is. They don't usually get second chances in fights like this, even though it makes all the sense in the world. But if they was to rematch, could it even be at 140 that Ryan can't even make? Now, Ryan Garcia overweighed the 3 pounds, but Devin Haney and Bill Haney, they just took the money. They still wanted to fight. They didn't care. They just wanted the stardom. They just wanted the W, and that didn't go well for them. Now we see why Tank did what he did in negotiations with Ryan Garcia. He's a big boy, and he packs a big punch. Ryan Garcia, like I said, and after his last fight when I made a video, I did see improvement. You know, he was using his legs more. He tried to jab a little bit. Like he showed improvement outside of that shoulder roll, which he didn't try to do in this fight. And shout out to Derrick James, man. Derrick James has been losing fighters, losing fights, like Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo, who lost their fights, and they broke off from Derrick James. Derrick James had a stable full of good fighters, but they all are in fights where they were big underdogs. Well, Earl wasn't a big underdog to Crawford, but he was an underdog nonetheless. So shout out to Derrick James to winning one of these underdog fights. So now people can stop trolling him. You know, Devin Haney is mandatory as Sandor Martin. Still, I'm not sure if that's the route he want to go. But as far as what's next for him, I think that he's going to be staying at 140. You know, he might get ordered to fight Sandor Martin, which isn't an easy fight either. Because if you're coming forward on Sandor Martin has some sneaky power and some footwork, you know, for you too. But it was the left hook. It was the left hook in this fight. You know, Ryan Garcia has one of the top left hooks in the game. And I was wondering how Devin Haney was going to deal with that. I just figured Haney would just smoothly outbox Ryan to an easy decision. But, you know, without the knockdowns, it would have been that. But you got knocked down 3 times. And you can't win a decision like that on Ryan Garcia on his own. So it is what it is. But he's still the champion, though. And they had a party for Devin Haney after the fight. He was in good spirit. He's still in good spirit. But, you know, Ryan Garcia, he's got talent. I knew the talent was there, but he was talking so crazy before the fight, doing drugs, drinking alcohol. He still confirms that he drank alcohol every day before the fight or whatever. I don't know if people is impressed by that or not, but hey, I seen he was in good shape. I kind of felt like Ryan Garcia was bluffing a little bit when he did that live stream, when he was jogging and talking to the fans on his live stream. I'm like, you got to be in shape to do that. So I knew that he was taking this fight serious. I know Ryan didn't want to be known for losing all his big fights. So he showed up for this one. Uh, he was getting outboxed, but he stayed. You know, it looked like his mission was just to knock out Devin Haney. Because he hurt him in the first round, and I guess that gave him confidence all throughout the fight. He wasn't worried about points. He was just coming for a knockout, and he got 3 knockdowns. That was close to a knockout. Close to a knockout. But it was a real good fight, and I give him his props. Hopefully, he takes his talent and want to be a champion someday soon, because he got talent. You got to fight for a belt sooner or later. All these big fights that he's chasing after, you know, are champions. He wants to fight Tank again, but Tank won't let. I don't think Tank would let him come in like that. I just think the Tank fight would just look the same. That's why I really don't want it. But I guess you can make an argument that by beating Devin Haney, that he might deserve it. But what weight are they going to fight at? If he can't make 140, he's not going to be able to make 136 or nothing like that again. Tank's at 135. You know, he's going to have to at least, he's going to have to get down to 140 because 140 is the highest Tank ever fought at. And I doubt that Tank goes to like 143 to try to fight him. That's way outside of his comfort zone. So weight could be a reason that Tank versus Ryan 2 doesn't ever happen. But I'm pretty sure PBC is going to try it. They did 1.2 million pay-per-views. So I'm sure that they're going to try it. But I don't really see that happening right now. Devin Haney, like I say, you know, he taking his loss like a man. With Bill Haney, he's kind of salty, and I don't blame him, man. They looked like they could be the next Floyd type of fighter, but they took this loss. They took this loss to a guy that they were familiar with, and I know that's got to hurt the ego. And they lost their chance at stardom or whatever by getting this win. But I think that Haney will be fine. You know, maybe he should fight Sandor Martin to fulfill that mandatory to stay a champion. Because I think he might get ordered, so he can't take a tune-up to like get his feet wet again, which is unfortunate. But this is the route that Haney took. He wants tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. That's why I really like Devin Haney. And he don't look like he has no quit in him. And it'll make sense if Haney do a couple fights at 140, then move up to 147. That fight with Ryan Garcia would make sense again. Because I'm pretty sure Ryan, he might not fight nobody at 140 as far as Sabril, Matias, Pitbull, you know, the champions. So Ryan Garcia should be at 147 waiting on Devin Haney. And I heard that this fight did real well on pay-per-view. So I don't think he would turn down that fight. Big money and somebody he's already beat before. But yeah, this came totally out of left field. I thought Ryan was a junkie. He was crazy. And he would just come in here throwing wild ass left hooks and get outboxed or stopped. But the left hook landed was landing all night. And I just think that Haney came in with the wrong game plan. A lot of these top Mexican fighters, you do not stand in front of them like that. You don't come forward on them like that. You peck at them and outbox them, pivot out, use your feet. Devin Haney did not use his footwork. You know, you're supposed to draw him forward. And that's what a lot of these fights with Devin Haney, like top matchups like Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson, like I think that if Devin Haney draws them forward, you know, and stay on the back foot, he could beat those guys. But Haney coming forward and on the inside through the clinch and all that, I don't think he's great at that. He's a great boxer, and he did not take that route in this fight. Ryan Garcia got into his head, you know, like a Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard situation. He got in his head and he got him to do what he wanted to do. You know, Ryan Garcia seen food when he seen Devin Haney coming forward, looking to hurt him and knock him out. And boxing is a mental game. You know, Devin Haney, he's been worried about showing people he got power, showing people he can fight on the inside since before the Linares fight. And you remember he got hurt in the 10th round in the Linares fight. He was hurt for the rest of the fight. You know, and then he still continued to try to be that guy when he just doesn't realize that fighting on the inside and coming forward, trying to brawl, that's not his strong suit, you know. But it is what it is. Ryan Garcia finally has a big win on his resume, and nobody can accuse him of being an IG model anymore. So let's see what's next for both fighters. That was a great fight. You know, Ryan won by 1 point, and I wouldn't say it's a robbery because he got the 3 knockdowns, man. He made Devin Haney look really bad, like nobody else ever did before. And it is what it is. So props to Ryan Garcia and Derek James. Let's see what's next for both fighters. Let's see what's next for both fighters. You know, that's kind of shook up the boxing world. I can't lie. I did not see this coming, even though with the familiarity these two had with each other, going 3-3 in the amateurs. Like, you can't ignore that. Like Roy Jones and Tarver. They say Tarver had success on Roy in the amateurs, and it translated to the pros. Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. Savannah beat Clarissa, and she put up Clarissa's most competitive fight in the pros. So you hear stuff like that, got to think about that when you, especially if you bet. But I'm going to holler at y'all. That was a great fight for the sport. And the Golden Boy in the Zone, they say they don't want the fight right now. They say they don't want the rematch right now. But I think that it's going to make sense in the future at 147. And if they did the numbers that they say they did, they're going to put that fight back on. So shout out to everybody listening to the video, and let's see what's next.